Hi everybody, it's Brett here. So we're going to go through some simple stuff, but in my opinion this might be the make or break piece for a lot of people in the chiropractic profession. Because again, you start to look at it, again, it's a simple question of why do some people have great practice, why do some people not have great practices? And it gets down to it, a lot of, like anything else in life, it's the intangible stuff that makes the difference. It's not the equipment you have, it's not the technique you have, it's not the colors on your wall, it's not where you went to school, it's none of that stuff. At the end of the day, it really comes down to what's in here. And beyond just what's in here, it's how you apply it. It's the attitude behind it, it's the intention behind it. And what we're going to talk about today, the certainty behind it. And at the end of the day, like they always say, is the person with the most certainty wins. And bottom line is if you're sitting there with a patient face to face, and you have less certainty than they do in terms of what they need or what they think they need, you lose at that point. They don't follow you at that point. We've all been in those situations where you walk out of a room and you wonder, what the heck did they not get? At the end of the day, it really comes back to what the heck did you not get at that point in time. So I'm going to walk through really 5 things here right now that we're going to talk about that revolve around certainty. So I'll put this up here just so we know what we're talking about here again. It's a simple word with a lot of meaning behind it. So, certainty. Number one thing you got to understand is your why. Why the heck are you doing what you're doing? Why did you go to chiropractic school to begin with? Why did you get involved in a profession? It's not all roses all the time type of thing. So, understand that if you have your why figured out, it's going to be very, very, very difficult for that person sitting across from you to understand your why with it. Your why needs to bleed through you. It needs to be who you are in regards to that. Did you really get into this profession to serve other people in a way that empowers them from a health standpoint, empowers them from a decision standpoint, or did you get involved in this profession to serve you in some sort of way? It's very, very, very fine line with a lot of that stuff, but understand this, people read through it in a heartbeat. So you need to get certain on your why and have that be front and foremost with you all the time. You got to feed that why. What things you need to do to constantly feed why you do it. Pick up a stinking green book once in a while. Or we'll get into some of the other stuff back on down here, but you've got to feed your why type of thing. Number 2 on here, this is along with this a little bit, but definitely different. Getting your mind right. And along with that is your why, obviously, but getting your mind right is simply this, is that before you walk into your office, you got to erase all the negative BS crap that's stuck in your head that keeps you from being focused on exactly what it is you do, why you do it, and what you want people to feel from you at that point in time. You need to be so laser locked in. You are a raging bull at that point in regards to, you know what your focus is. You are so locked onto that, there's absolutely nothing that is going to get in your way from delivering it. And this is a struggle for a lot of people because they come to quote-unquote work with a lot of baggage. There's crap at home from relationships, financial problems, the weather, their car broke down, their whatever happened to them type of thing, but it messes with their mind. Their mind goes to shit at that point in time, for lack of a better term. And they get stuck in that mode for a long time. And the bottom line is, if you can't get your mind right, you shouldn't be walking in that front door to begin with. So like they always say, is check yourself before you wreck yourself. Not only you're wrecking yourself, but you're wrecking the people in front of you. Don't waste their life and their time because you can't get your head straight. So you got to wrap your mind around exactly where you need to be. What's that intention piece that you need to focus on? What are you accomplishing? What are you looking to accomplish? What's your intentions with that individual? Because they need to be locked in at that point in time. For me, there's certain triggers that I have that remind me where my head needs to be. And before I walk in a room, I say certain things to myself every single time, so it reminds me, where does my head need to be on something like that? So get your mind right with this. Number 3 on here, ask. And by this I simply mean there's 2 aspects to this. You need to ask your colleagues what helps them, what gets them focused, the whole point of creating this video, as well as 2, you need to ask your patients, your clients, your people that you serve, why is it that they see you? Because that builds it up in your head, your certainty behind what it is that you do and why you do it. That's on there. If all you deal with every single day is whiny, complaining, bitchy patients that their back doesn't feel better and you can't help them, guess what happens to your certainty? It goes out the window at that point. Versus if you focus on the people that have come in there and had fertility issues that are gone, they've had chronic disease conditions that are minimized at this point in time, their relationships have gotten better, their health's gotten better, every aspect of their life has improved, they've gotten a new job because of it. That's what builds your certainty. So you have to start asking those questions to people. What has changed in your life since you started in here? What has changed in your life since we met each other X amount of time ago? Don't be scared to ask these questions. Don't be scared of the answer from as well, too. Because understand this, you will get answers you don't want to hear. But at the end of the day, for the ones you want to hear, you need to ask the questions. So number 3 on there is important. You got to ask. Number 4 on here, in my opinion, is a big one. But learn and be an expert. Be the authority. I see this a lot, is that chiropractors, we take a back seat many times. That I have no clue why that is, but why is it that you fear somebody else's authority or you crumble under the pressure of where it's at on there? And a lot of it is that you have not done enough to learn and grow to become the expert and the authority at which needs to be to take the seat that you deserve in regards to that. If you aren't proud of what you do, go back to the drawing board right here first. But go back to the drawing board, you got to start to learn. Let me ask these questions on here. When was the last time you got into chiropractic textbooks? For example, I'm not talking about anatomy or physiology, but the green books, the reason why we all got in this profession to begin with. When was the last time you've been to a real chiropractic event where people there are there to serve? You're not there to learn the new insurance coding and billing type of stuff, but you're there to get your head back focused on what you got into this profession for. When was the last time you met with a group of chiropractors and didn't talk about business, but you talked about chiropractic? When was the last time you've been to a technique program or analysis program to teach you how to be more certain on the technique that you deliver, the analysis and the technique you deliver, and the outcomes that you gain? If you're not learning and growing, you are what? You're dying at that point in time. When you're dying, your certainty goes to the pot at that point. So understand this, if you're not doing stuff to learn right now, if you're not constantly digging into stuff, and to finish my statement, if you're not doing that stuff, you are inevitably, you're falling down the edge of the hill. You're going to fall down into the bottom pits of, this sucks, I don't want to do it anymore, I quit type of mentality. It becomes work at that point versus flip the tables back around. Learn and grow with stuff like that. So, like I said, invest in yourself. Invest the time, invest the money, invest whatever necessary resources you need to continue to learn and grow as time goes on. You may learn stuff you don't even want to use, but when you put yourself in those situations, it builds up who you are. Knowledge is power in so many different ways, like I've always said. And lastly on here, expect it. I'm going to underline that because it is the amazing results that you need to see in your office consistently as time goes on. If you don't expect them, if you expect poor results, if you expect crappy patients, if you expect no people walking in your door, guess what you're going to get? Exactly that. So let's flip it around and start expecting good things to happen. Let's start expecting awesome, amazing results that they write stories about all the time, that you see other people write and wonder why you can't get those. Well, first of all, you don't expect it because you haven't done the work in regards to that. Expect things that are unexpected in the past, or that patients see as unexpected. Start planting seeds in their head of what's possible in regards down that process. But if you don't expect it, don't expect to see it at that point in time. So start changing your brain. Start focusing on it. Start praying about it, meditating about it, writing about it, journaling about it, drawing pictures about it, thinking about it. Just constantly obsess yourself with changing your head to focus on what you want at that point. And what you want in this circumstance is certainty. And that certainty is being the authority. Walking with confidence, speaking with confidence, and never wavering from any conversation whatsoever, because you know that you know what you know. If that makes any sense to you, and I hope it does, because like I said, if this resonates with you, you should be fired up right now. So again, we're focusing and talking about certainty today. If you don't got it, you lose it. And if you lose it, you're done at that point in time. So you constantly kind of build it up, build it up, build it up, build it up. So again, get your head right, you focus on this stuff. It takes work, but it'll pay off big time in the end. Thanks, guys.